Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us for News 8 Now this morning. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Mark Jarrett.
It is Friday, October 25th. Bit of a foggy Friday morning out there, right?
Pretty much is, and it's going to be like that for the next day or two as well as we get into it. Let's go ahead and give you a view of what's happening for our local weather here as we go into our new quickcast here. We're looking at the rainfall that we picked up yesterday. It was pretty decent. Some good storms came in. We had some wet roads. In fact, that's what we have right now to talk about. And then we get out of that and we'll show you the rain totals we picked up. You can see in some cases up from a 1/10 of an inch higher or all the way up into at least a 4/10 of an inch getting into the forecast there for you. That being said, the winds are calm right now. Despite that, though, we're still picking up some winds that have stirred up just a bit. So it's a light breeze out there for right now. And as we get into it here, you're looking at dry and cooler conditions for today. Seasonally milder as we go into Saturday, and of course more of the mild getting back into Sunday, where we'll get temperatures up into the low to middle 60s. That being said, hey, take a look at your current temperatures right now. Some 40s, some 50s, and 30s out there currently. In fact, as we roll right into it, we are at least about 13 now to about 17 degrees warmer than we were 24 hours ago. Current visibility, there's your patchy to dense fog out there, and this will continue. La Crosse keeps fluctuating with visibility issues right now. 6 miles visibility down to 2 as you get into Boscobel, 7 as you go into Prairie du Chien, and of course Eau Claire is doing just fine with a little bit of patchy fog. I'll have more about this coming up for you in a moment.
All right, thank you. Millions of early voting ballots have already been cast with now just 11 days till Election Day. The margins are razor thin between two presidential candidates in multiple battleground states as they race to win over undecided voters. CBS News' Jared Hill has more on the candidates' weekend plans from New York.
For the first time, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Barack Obama took the campaign stage together, rallying in front of a Georgia crowd yesterday.
There's a choice that everybody has. It's either Donald Trump in there stewing over his enemies list, or me working for you.
Before a crowd of over 20,000 outside of Atlanta, the two highlighted reasons folks in the battleground should vote for Harris, rejecting former President Donald Trump.
Kamala Harris doesn't have concepts of a plan. She got a plan to make your life better.
The star-studded rally also featured appearances from rock legend Bruce Springsteen and movie legends with ties to the Peach State. Out west, Trump spent the day focused on immigration, speaking to voters in Arizona.
We're a dumping ground. We're like a garbage can for the world.
And in Nevada, he denied his former chief of staff John Kelly's account that he praised Adolf Hitler's generals while in office.
No, I never said that. I would never say that.
Today, Texas takes center stage, Trump in Austin and Michigan, while Harris will focus on women's reproductive rights in Houston.
They were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it.
Rolling out a new campaign ad ahead of a rally that's expected to include an appearance from Texas native Beyonce. That's according to a source familiar.
Tomorrow, Vice President Harris will make her first campaign appearance with former First Lady Michelle Obama at a rally in Michigan. Former President Trump will also be in Michigan again tomorrow before he heads to Pennsylvania. And First Lady Jill Biden and Minnesota's First Lady Gwen Walz are teaming up in La Crosse. This will be the pair's first campaign event together, set for Monday. Campaign staff not releasing too many specific details right now. This will be Biden's first visit to La Crosse. Walz campaigned here last month. Wisconsin's first day of early voting sees a surge with 97,000 absentee ballots submitted. That is up 20,000 from the last presidential election. In La Crosse, more than 900 voters cast ballots on day one, 200 more than in 2020. And if you want to cast your vote early today, La Crosse residents can do just that at the Southside Neighborhood Center from 1 to 6 p.m. or the Northside Policing Center from 9 to 2. You can also vote on UWL's campus today at the Cleary Alumni and Friends Center from 9 to 4. If you live in Onalaska, head to the city clerk's office from 8 to 4. The state of Iowa is releasing new details on a recent audit on how many non-citizens voted in the last election. Marcus McIntosh breaks down this new audit and why some groups are saying it's targeting them.
It's always pointed to our community.
An audit released by the Secretary of State's office found more than 2,000 people with questionable citizenship voted or registered to vote in Iowa. The information was released after the Secretary of State's office says it received information from the Department of Transportation and cross-checked the names with the list from their office.
We work very hard to make sure we give the voters a clean, open, fair election, and we want to make sure that our election registration database of all our eligible voters is most accurate and up-to-date as possible. So we, on a regular basis, are updating it.
Those whose citizenship is unclear will get a provisional ballot that will be reviewed before it is counted.
They're playing politics.
Joe Henry with the League of United Latin American Citizens says there are other ways to catch people trying to vote fraudulently.
They could have that proved right away by reviewing Social Security numbers, driver's licenses, all those things.
Henry says with some races being very close, confirming or denying the 2,000 plus people in question is something that can easily be done before Election Day.
Do the work that you're supposed to be doing. Verify this before the election. Don't hold these 2,022 people out there and tell them you're just going to allow them to do provisional ballot.
And closer to home, we're learning more about a death investigation in Fountain City. Authorities now say a landlord called deputies to evict 2 people from a home. When they got there, they found a 57-year-old woman dead. Investigators say they believe she had been dead for several weeks. Deputies also discovered 58 cats and 13 dogs in the home. Those animals now at local shelters. One person is in custody while authorities investigate and await autopsy results. Testimony over video evidence dominated day 6 of Adam Fravel's murder trial in Mankato. Law enforcement obtained footage showing Madeline Kingsbury's car traveling on Highway 43. Investigators examined both Kingsbury and Fravel's phones and home security cameras, which were active until just 2 days before Kingsbury disappeared. Prosecutors also revealed texts showing Fravel had been physically abusive. La Crosse officers got a new perspective on mental health crisis calls yesterday through Hearing Voices training. Officers wore headphones that simulate auditory hallucinations while performing tasks. The exercise helps them understand what people in crisis experience and teaches vital de-escalation techniques.
Officers are responding sometimes to somebody's worst day and their worst moment in time, and we want to make sure that we provide the officers with the skills so everybody is safe.
Officers from La Crosse, Trumpereau, and Vernon counties are continuing to participate in the training today. They will tour local mental health facilities and put their training to action with live scenarios. A group of students walked out of school in a peaceful protest at Central High. The effort was put together by the school's Feminist Equality Movement Club, protesting the limitations on women's reproductive rights. The walkout looks to raise awareness for the cause ahead of the election, whether you'll be able to cast a ballot or not.
I think it's important for our community to know that even if you can't vote, you're not old enough to vote, it's still important that you have a say and you have an opinion on what's going on in our country.
40 students participated. 2 Midwestern health systems are set to merge, South Dakota-based Sanford Health and Marshfield Clinic combining forces to improve patient outcomes, they say. Sanford is the largest rural health system in the U.S. with 45 hospitals and 211 clinics. Marshfield has locations across Wisconsin, including several in the Chippewa Valley. The merge expected to be finished by the end of the year. Get ready for an exciting weekend of events. The Brewing Project is brewing up its annual Halloween bash. Check out the drag show, try some new specialty brews and the food trucks while the Halloween classic Hocus Pocus plays on the big screen. And meet some furry friends Sunday at Pet Expo LAX. Check out snakes, spiders, exotic birds, adoptable pets, and other critters. Kids 12 and under and veterans get in free. Scope out science with a splash tomorrow at WSU for the 5th annual STEM Carnival. Check out the reptiles and birds and make some slime and watch the Mad Scientist Science Show. Time now is 6:09. Still ahead on your morning news. Businesses are having a hard time dealing with election uncertainty. Gas is about to be cheaper for Amazon Prime members, and World Series tickets expected to cost more than ever. And a costly winter is ahead. Home heating bills are set to jump more than 10%, why experts say this could be the most expensive season yet. And for now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. The European Space Agency's Euclid telescope has captured its first glimpse of the universe, showing roughly 100 million stars and galaxies in just one slice of our southern sky. The mission is to create the largest 3D map of space ever, helping scientists study dark matter and the universe's expansion. This is just the beginning. The stunning image represents only 1% of a map that will take 6 years to complete. And as you start to wake up this morning, leaving you with a quick wake-up call with the first capital in the U.S. that was established back in 1789. Of course, that is New York City. Washington, D.C. would later become the nation's capital just 1 year later. Stay with us. Your morning consumer news is coming up.
I have had the privilege of working with an exceptional team to install over 12,000 home improvements for local homeowners in the last 35 years. Now it's time for me to spend a little more time with my bride of over 50 years. Fortunately, I found an experienced remodeling contractor and corporate project manager to lead the board store into the future.
And with an outstanding team by my side, I am proud to lead this amazing company my dad has built. And we look forward to continuing to serve you with the great value that is the board store trademark.
He's supposed to serve Wisconsin, but Derek Van Orden doesn't care about making our lives better. Van Orden wants to repeal the law that stops insurance companies from denying coverage if you have a pre-existing health condition. He'd make Wisconsinites pay just to give huge tax cuts to corporations and the wealthy. Van Orden even sides with extremists who tried to cut Social Security. Wisconsin deserves better, and Derek Van Orden does not belong in Congress.
HMP is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Let's talk about Rebecca Cook. She's a political operative. She's worked for defund the police radicals across this country.
Cook spent millions getting Mandela Barnes elected, the most anti-law enforcement candidate in Wisconsin's history.
You remember Barnes, the guy who said reducing prison populations was sexy?
Defund the police radicals make it harder for us to keep you safe.
That's why we can't support Rebecca Cook, because she'll never support us.
Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
Tammy Baldwin has our back. Tammy broke the law to make sure American projects are made with American iron and steel.
Thanks to Tammy Baldwin, my daughter's inhaler is now only $35 a month.
Tammy's Dairy Business Innovation Act has helped us hire more workers.
Tammy Baldwin's leading the charge to restore Roe v. Wade.
Tammy Baldwin fought like hell to save my retirement.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
To have someone in Washington that's got your back, oh man, that's gold.
Under Kamala, there's been a big hike in Medicare premiums. Social Security benefits don't go far with Kamala's inflation slamming seniors. Now Kamala wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes, while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That will doom Medicare. President Trump will make sure no one cuts Medicare or Social Security. Trump lowered Medicare premiums, and he'll end the tax on Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
My husband and I were elated to find out that we would be having another baby. But after many tests, my doctors agreed that we had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the worst day of my life. You should know that Eric Hubdy supports laws that stop me and my doctor from making that decision. And that's a ban with no exceptions in cases of rape or incest. It's a ban that could turn doctors into criminals. He opposes abortion, period.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees.
Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $400 off any tablet.
Well, good morning to you. We're starting out today with patchy fog and low cloud activity. We're expecting milder conditions not only today but going into the weekend. And then once we get into next week, starting out all the way into midweek, we're looking at warmer conditions where we could see 70s getting up to possibly around 80 degrees. That being said, let me give you a forecast right here. Getting out of Canada, cooler air coming in. We also see the Pacific's been quite active, and that's also ushering in some moisture back into the forecast. And so we should have some rainfall possibly getting into next week. week for a few days here and there. We're also seeing the breezy and gusty winds popping through today, and that will usher in some breezy winds for us to start. And then eventually, as we go into Sunday, we'll see some windy conditions popping back into the picture, coming in from the Pacific, of course, working out of Canada. That being said, we've got the cooler air right about now. We'll hold on to conditions that will be like that going into your weekend as well. So we have a mix of mild and cool. So we're kind of in the middle of that. So we're having temperatures that are just a little bit warmer than our seasonal average temperatures by a degree or two. Then eventually they'll be about maybe 4 to 5 degrees warmer going into the next few days. That being said, we take a look here as high pressure begins to build. That's where we're going to start our warming coming up for next week and potential record-breaking temperatures. Current temperatures across the region, all the way from Billings back into here locally. We are looking at temperatures widespread in the 30s and the 40s. Here's a look at your fog and low cloud activity getting into it with patchy to dense fog. Visibility down to 6 miles, so that means the river valley areas, also portions of our downtown area here locally, and that extends all the way out to Vogue Field as well as Viroqua, down into Prairie du Chien and Boston with the fog. This will all continue to last all the way through the 9 o'clock hour. It begins to break down. Once we get past the 9 o'clock hour, you're going to be seeing some of that fog still lingering for some locations going into the 10 o'clock hour. When I come back, I'll have a better overview of how your weather plays out for today, so stick around.
In your consumer news this morning, the 2024 presidential election is creating new challenges for U.S. businesses. Business owner uncertainty has hit a record high, according to a 40-year survey by the National Federation of Independent Business. Experts say election anxiety has many companies in a holding pattern, delaying hiring and investments, but they expect activity could pick back up once the election uncertainty clears. Gas is going to be a tad bit cheaper for Amazon Prime members. The e-commerce giant just announced it's allowing members to save 10 cents per gallon at the gas pump. That averages up to saving about $70 a year. The new perk is part of a long list of benefits for Amazon Prime members. The company offers discounts on things like video streaming and subscription and prescription drug savings. Tickets to this year's World Series are expected to cost more than ever. How about $1,700 for a seat to the highly anticipated matchup between the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers? That's the average on the secondary market. The World Series kicks off tonight in Los Angeles. And get the blankets and sweaters ready. According to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, this winter heating your home will cost, again, even more. Michael Yoshida has more on what you need to know as you try to stay warm this winter.
Home heating costs expected to jump, delivering a winter wallop to wallets across the country.
This is going to be a very difficult winter. All signs point to it being more expensive than last year.
A jump of 10.5% is expected in the U.S. on average. Mark Wolf, executive director with the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, says part of the increase is due to colder temperatures forecast for the Northeast and Midwest. Those who heat with electricity will be hit the hardest, with average costs projected to rise to an average of $1,208, up 13.6%. A big impact is general inflation, along with utilities having to maintain and upgrade the electrical grid.
Many utilities have put these improvements off for a number of years, and now it's catching up.
What about propane or natural gas? Propane users projected to see average costs rise to $1,442, up 7.3%. Natural gas users could see their costs increase to $644, a 7.2% rise. Oil also expected to rise to $1,963, up 6.1%. So what can you do to prepare? Wolf offers this advice. Get your furnace running efficiently ahead of winter. Seal windows and doors for any leaks. Also, try opening curtains and blinds during the day when the sun's out. Another trick, turn the thermostat down.
If it's 70 degrees at night in your house, turn it down to 68, but do it over a course of days. Every 1% you turn it down, you'll save about 1% on your bill.
That's it for your morning consumer news. Time now is 6:18. Let's check back in with Art for a look at our Friday forecast.
All right, Alexander, as we go into what's going to play out for today, again, temperatures starting out pretty chilly in some cases, but not as bad as we've been over the last few days. Still holding on to 30s once you get into areas by Black River Falls, Sparta about 39 degrees, La Crosse at 45, and then back up into areas by Eau Claire, 49 degrees for you. And as we start your day here, you're seeing temperatures are a lot warmer than they were 24 hours ago. Most of these were flip to the script where they are much cooler. We're at least up to 17 degrees warmer than we were 24 hours ago. So anyway, believe it or not, we're going to be looking at mild conditions going into today and a split of cool conditions. So we're right in the middle of all of that right now, and that will continue going right into your weekend as well, where you're seeing temperatures kind of just a little bit above seasonal average, and then just several degrees above seasonal average. Then of course we bump into the 70s to warm you up going into next week. That being said, current visibility, this is the fog low cloud activity. This is what's going to hold us up for today for folks that are trying to get out to work today and get kids to school. 1 mile of visibility, 0 miles visibility, dense fog working in the area here, also working into the south, working into the east, and then coming in from the north. You may pick up a little bit of fog there for La Crosse today. This all extends all the way down to Viroqua, as well as portions of Boscobel and Prairie du Chien. That being said, we get this cloud cover that we picked up for the rainfall out of the way. We're holding on to conditions from the 5 o'clock hour to the 6 o'clock hour to the 7 o'clock hour going into mid-morning hours. 40 degrees mostly widespread 40s to the low 50s picking into the picture. We go right into Friday at 1 o'clock though. Clouds are out of the way. We're in the sunshine. We're in mostly sunny skies to partly cloudy skies to finish out your morning, depending on where you are, down all the way down to Prairie du Chien or up to the north. That will continue on, and once we get into the 6 o'clock hour, we're holding on to at least widespread low to middle 50s. Comfortable, right? So anyway, we get into it here. We have the warmer conditions coming in for Tuesday. As I mentioned, we're looking at potentially up to 80 degrees in some cases as we go into Tuesday, possibly 70 degrees going into Wednesday, but rainfall is back into our forecast. We'll also see that possibly come back again for Thursday, going into Friday, and then dropping down to a 20% chance, and we should be done. So that's a possibility of some rainfall moving in the picture. That being said, we take a gander here what our average temperatures are supposed to be. 52 to 58 degrees usually for our highs, lows in the widespread 30s as well. Now as we get into it, we're expecting widespread 50s and a mix of 60s in there today. We should see some mostly sunny skies for the better part of the day after we have the mostly cloudy skies and the fog and low cloud activity. We'll go into temperatures from 61 today to 58 for tomorrow. 64 by Sunday with breezy and gusty winds popping in, turning windy on Monday going into Tuesday. And you're also looking at about a 10% chance of rainfall on Monday, 30% chance on Tuesday with 80-degree heat. So those could possibly be records. We'll also see that maybe coming in on Wednesday as well. And then we have some sunshine coming back in for Thursday and Friday of next week. Back to you.
Thank you, Art. The time now is 6:21. Still ahead, childhood obesity rates continue to climb, the warning from doctors, and the solutions that start at home. Next.
Coming up in the Blitz, area volleyballers looking to keep their seasons alive in opening postseason action. Highlights coming your way in just a bit.
Right now at International Furniture, get store-wide fall savings on all the brands you know and trust. Fjords, Durham Bedroom, Norwalk, Hooker, Flex Steel, and Hancock and more. Hurry in today for the best selection and savings. International Furniture, I-90 Exit 2, La Crosse.
I thought I knew Tammy Baldwin.
I thought I knew Tammy Baldwin.
But boy, is she extreme.
Tammy's open border policies flooded Wisconsin with fentanyl and criminals.
Her bill to force women to share locker rooms with biological men? Dangerous.
And Tammy's done nothing to lower the cost of living.
In fact, she helped cause the crisis.
25 years is enough.
It's enough.
It's enough.
It's time for Tammy Baldwin to go. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Eric Hovde's trying to scare you. The truth is, no sex change surgeries take place on minors in Wisconsin. 0. And Tammy Baldwin didn't give funding to a transgender clinic. It's actually a youth homeless shelter. Eric Hovde knows that. But he's a billionaire banker who thinks he can lie about anything, including falsely attacking Tammy Baldwin by questioning her personal life. Wisconsin's better than Eric Hovde.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal, come have a taste of Wisconsin.
America's Dairyland.
As in real dairy.
It gives Culver's fresh frozen custard its famous rich and creamy flavor.
Like really rich.
So rich.
Rich and creamy.
And our cook-to-order Butterburgers?
They're topped with, you guessed it,
Wisconsin cheese.
But it's the smiles we put on your face
with every meal made just for you.
That really makes our hearts melt.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Racist and offensive. Ryan Hipsch's social media history tells us who he really is. In one post, Hipsch said that he wanted a hat with the N-word embroidered on it. In another, Hipsch aims a rifle and comments that he can't wait to kill Muslims using a slur. then wrote, LOL, that was racist. And that's just the beginning. Hip's social media posts are full of degrading terms for women and people with disabilities. Tell Ryan Hipsch that his agenda is too extreme for the Cooley region.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Right now at International Furniture, get store-wide fall savings on all the brands you know and trust. Fjords, Durham Bedroom, Norwalk, Hooker, Flex Steel, and Hancock and more. Hurry in today for the best selection and savings. International Furniture, I-90 Exit 2, La Crosse.
Welcome to the Blitz. Lots to get to, so let's not waste any time getting into some highlights. We'll begin with a classic MVC rivalry on the volleyball court. 4th meeting of the year between Onalaska and Central. Each match separated by just 1 set. Toppers playing well early. Ellie Moscati picks up a point with the dump into enemy territory to make it 15-6. Then Central trying to show some fight as their senior leader Aaliyah Shields clicks return to sender. Then Onalaska showing some great defense and hustle. Nice dig in the back. Ball ricochets off the ceiling, saved by Moscati, and McKenna McGarry rolls it over to make it 17-10. Visitors would take the first set 25-21, and they go on to take this one in a sweep. Hilltoppers will take on top seed Middleton Saturday at 5 p.m. Top seed in all of Division III, Aquinas doing battle with Darlington. Pick this one up late 2nd set. Blue Gold's up comfortably and extending that lead as Sammy Davis is going to soar for the kill, and the hosts going to be out of system in this play right here, but still finding ways to make things happen. Catherine Salvadelli goes cross court, and the Redbirds cannot return it. Aquinas takes the set. Set 3 visitors showing some fight. It's Maddie Gratz picking up the solo block there in the middle. Darlington would jump out to a 10-1 lead and end up winning this set, but the Blue Golds would get it together in set 4, and they advance to the regional final. Across the Mississippi we go as Mabel Canton hosting Houston. First set, Cougars looking to get hot. Kaylee Kleppe would get things going, painting the lines with that kill and keeping it in. Later on, the facilitator, Sahara Morkin, getting to work. Backward set to Kinley Soini, and no problem as she hits it to the hardwood. Then it's Morkin again, spreading the ball around, this time to Sajal Slafter as she knocks it past the Houston defense. Cougars run away with this one as they take it in 3. Staying in Minnesota, we got Caledonia facing off against PEM. Caledonia already up 2 sets, looking to add to it. Cross-court pass is going to reach Elsa Blum, who sends it down. And then it was the seniors' turn. Liv Myrie showing no fear coming up here as she swats it down for the kill as the Warriors take a commanding lead, and Myrie would have her way on this night. She finds a soft spot coming up here against the defense and hammers it by as her squad would roll in this one 3-2-0. Busy Thursday night, that's for sure. Be sure to join us for a busy Friday night of postseason football. That'll do it for the Blitz. See you then.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. When they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular.
Complete your roofing project now and get an 11% rebate at Menards. Your roof is the first line of defense against the elements. Owens Corning shingles are the #1 brand trusted by contractors. Choose from over 40 options and get a limited lifetime warranty and up to 130 miles per hour wind warranty. Get an 11% rebate on all Owens Corning shingles right now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Remember when Hillary Clinton called you a deplorable?
You can put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Well, Tammy Baldwin hates you too.
Donald Trump might be one of the most offensive and hateful and unacceptable presidential candidates we've ever had. So what does that say about the people who support him?
Tammy Baldwin is a liberal snob.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Politics these days stinks. Too much hot air, and you know what else.
But I'm no stranger to putting in a hard day's work and getting the job done. I have a history of bipartisan accomplishments. It's a hard job, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I can reach across the aisle and pass good bills just as easily as I can walk across the barnyard with my shovel. So whether it's doing chores on the farm or passing bills in Madison, I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm ready to get back to work for you.
This illegal immigrant was recently arrested in southwestern Wisconsin for a sexually violent attack on a woman, a suspected Venezuelan gang member who entered the U.S. just last year. Unfortunately, Steve Doyle supports sanctuary cities that protect criminals like this, and Doyle opposed sending resources to secure the border to keep dangerous criminals like Alejandro Jose Coronel Zarate away from our families. Steve Doyle's failures are destroying Wisconsin lives. Steve Doyle, unwilling to secure the border, unfit to serve.
I thought I knew Tammy Baldwin.
I thought I knew Tammy Baldwin.
But boy, is she extreme.
Tammy's open border policies flooded Wisconsin with fentanyl and criminals.
Her bill to force women to share locker rooms with biological men, dangerous.
And Tammy's done nothing to lower the cost of living.
In fact, she helped cause the crisis.
25 years is enough.
It's enough.
It's enough.
It's time for Tammy Baldwin to go. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado. Visit HometownChevy.com.
Look, here's a phone company who wants us to use our phones less.
That's ironic.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Let's find us again with Us Mode. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
It's a free ride.
But I already paid.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
In your morning medical news, it continues to be a challenging public health issue. Obesity can lead to severe health problems like heart disease and diabetes. And a new CDC report shows the number of kids and teens with obesity has risen sharply over the past 2 decades. Mandy Gaither has a look at the data and explains how parents can help their children's health.
It's a major health concern that continues to worsen. In 2000, nearly 14% of young people ages 2 through 19 had obesity. As of 2023, it's jumped to more than 21%. And in that same time period, severe obesity in that age group nearly doubled.
More than 60% of my patients are overweight or obese. So while it does seem remarkable when we hear the information from the CDC, it is not surprising.
Dr. Sarah Nozel with the American Academy of Family Physicians says many factors out of a child's control can contribute to obesity, like access to fresh fruits and veggies. So she says changing the obesity trend is something that needs to be comprehensive and done over time.
That might mean that I meet with you regularly for more than a year to be working with the entire family about what's happening with food, what's happening with physical activity, really monitoring interventions and supporting the family in making those changes.
Nozel says there are simple ways for parents and caregivers to help support a child's health. Remove all juice and soda from the home, which can add empty calories to their diet.
Often families think they're making a good choice when they're drinking juice, but actually also that is just another form of liquid candy.
Make healthy snacks more accessible. Nozel says to cut up fruits and veggies and set them up front in the fridge where it's easier to grab. And after dinner, do something active as a family.
There's great evidence that it can be as effective as a diabetes medication to do physical activity following a meal.
The doctor says parents and caregivers should also be careful not to stigmatize the actual number on the scale. Instead, she says to encourage youth to think about living healthier and promote that from a wellness standpoint that the whole family can move toward together. The EPA taking a harder stance on lead paint dust in homes and childcare facilities. Under new rules, any amount of lead exposure is now considered hazardous, especially for children, where it can harm brain development. While lead paint is banned in new construction, it's still still a threat in older buildings. The move is part of a broader push to eliminate lead exposure nationwide. A human case of West Nile virus has been identified in Eau Claire County. This is the county's first case of West Nile this year. On average, Wisconsin sees about 18 reported cases each year. About 80% of people who are infected don't get sick, but officials say it's always a good idea to prevent mosquito bites with bug spray and long sleeve clothing. Happening today, a chance to safely dispose of your unwanted medications. The Toma VA holding a drug take-back day from 10 to 2 outside of Building 400 at the VA. A pharmacist and police officer will be on hand to dispose properly and safely of any expired or unused medication. A local nonprofit is building bridges to a better tomorrow. The Family and Children's Center hosting its 3rd annual fundraiser in La Crosse. That organization provides services to strengthen families and promote well-being. They're hoping to raise $700,000 by year's end to continue the vital work.
There's absolutely no way that we could possibly provide the over 28 programs that we do without our donors and without our partners and without our friends in the community. There's just absolutely no way. But I think they do because they believe in the work we do. They believe in the impact that we make.
If you missed the event and would like to donate, the link is on our digital platforms. The organization is donating more than $142,000 to local nonprofits, schools, and veteran groups. Recipients include Big Brothers Big Sisters and the La Crescent Animal Rescue. It's part of Oktoberfest's ongoing commitment to supporting the Coulee region year-round. West Salem's newest attraction is ready to roll. The bike park at Lewis Point features pump tracks for both beginners and advanced riders. While designed for bikes, the paved surface welcomes skateboards, rollerblades, and scooters. The 2-year project. Welcome back at 6:52. Time for your morning news now. We're learning more about a death investigation in Fountain City. Authorities now say a landlord called deputies to evict 2 people from a mobile home. When they got there, they found a 57-year-old woman dead. Investigators believe she'd been dead for several weeks. Deputies also discovered 58 cats and 13 dogs in the home. Those animals now at local shelters. One person is in custody while authorities investigate and await autopsy results. Testimony over video evidence dominated day 6 of Adam Fravel's murder trial in Mankato. Law enforcement showed footage showing Madeline Kingsbury's car traveling on Highway 43. Investigators examined both Kingsbury and Fravel's phones and home security cameras, which were active until 2 days before Kingsbury disappeared. Prosecutors also revealed texts showing Fravel had been physically abusive. First Lady Dr. Jill Biden and Minnesota's First Lady Gwen Walz are teaming up in La Crosse. This will be the pair's first campaign event together, set for Monday. Campaign staff not releasing specifics yet. News 8 will have a crew there. La Crosse residents can vote at the Southside Neighborhood Center from 1 to 6 this evening, or the Northside Policing Center from 9 to 2. You can also vote on UWL's campus from 9 to 4. And if you live in Onalaska, you can vote at the city clerk's office from 8 to 4. Happening today, a chance to safely dispose of unwanted medications. The Toma VA is holding a drug take-back day from 10 to 2 outside Building 400. A pharmacist and police officer will be there to dispose the medications. A unique UWL program is helping single parents achieve their college dreams. The university's self-sufficiency program celebrated with a scholarship breakfast yesterday. The free 10-week program helps single parents explore college options and offers scholarships.
It's tough to get a degree, whether it's associates or a bachelor's, but many do, and it's about giving them a good start and confidence, growing confidence.
Collected during the breakfast will help fund those SSP scholarships. West Salem's newest attraction is ready to roll. The bike park at Lewis Park features pump tracks for beginners and advanced riders. While designed for bikes, the paved surface also welcomes skateboarders, rollerbladers, and scooters. The 2-year project came together through partnerships with local contractors.
All the steps we've had to take, it's been a really long journey, but it's been a wonderful team that we've gotten to work with, and it's just fantastic to be able to start to share it with the world like we are today.
Attendees enjoyed free food and drinks at the grand opening and a chance to test out the track. Some events going on this weekend to tell you about: the Brewing Project brewing up its annual Halloween bash with a drag show, specialty beers, food trucks, and a showing of Hocus Pocus. Meet some furry friends Sunday at Pet Expo LAX, where you can check out snakes, spiders, exotic birds, and other adoptable pets. Kids 12 and under and vets get in free. Scope out science with a splash tomorrow at WSU for the 5th annual STEM Carnival, where you'll find reptiles, birds, make some slime, and watch the Mad Scientist science show.
All right, and away we go, holding on to temperatures that are going to be pretty nice, widespread in the 50s and the 60s. We'll also be seeing some fog and low cloud activity that I've mentioned before. It is dense fog out there, so still clearing going into the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock hour. And of course, sunshine will ensue. But as we go into the next several days, we're going to be beginning to warm you up again. 70s, possibly up to the 80s back in the picture. And we'll take it into conditions like this for your weekend. We're looking at 61 to 58 today, 64 as you go into Sunday, and then rainfall starts to be a part of our forecast with the heat.
Stopping traffic at an Iowa home, gigantic pumpkin guts. This creative homeowner recreated every detail, wow, from torn orange tendrils to oversized seeds, even those flimsy carving knives. It is the same artist whose interactive Mont's door went viral last Halloween. This messy masterpiece is already drawing attention online, and a big thanks to the neighbor who helped get it on the roof. That's impressive.
I can hear Nicole saying right now, is there a pumpkin spice latte in there at all?
Yeah, you can get a fresh one from that. Well, thank you for starting your Friday with us. We will see you back here at noon. Until then, enjoy your day.